Hello, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is JoJo if this is your first time here. On this channel, I share with you our family's journey to financial freedom. For us, that includes paying off debt, investing, and saving. Today's video, I'm going to be closing out the month of February. There was a lot that happened financially in the month of February, so I can't wait to share with you guys all of the great news. We're going to first start with the monthly calendar view because that's where I like to start when I am planning out my budget. So let's go ahead and hop right in. Okay, so here we are at the monthly calendar view. This was my February layout, and my husband and I were paycheck by paycheck budgeters. We each get paid on the same week every other week, so we have 4 paychecks that come in every month. So when I show you guys the every dollar monthly budget, that is all 4 paychecks, what the expected amounts were, what they actually were, all rolled into one. Here was paycheck 1 and paycheck 2 accounted for the month of February. Paycheck 1 was deposited on the 10th, and paycheck 2, the first deposit was made on February 24th. And I coordinate, I still do this even though I'm using the Every Dollar app, but the Budget Mom uses the color coordination with the bills or your expenses to coordinate with your paycheck, and that gives a really great visual to decide how you're going to allocate money every month. So this is my paycheck layout for February. I'm going to zoom you guys in over here for some of the important dates and things that occurred in February. Okay, so over here on the notes side of the calendar view, I have our goals, and these are coordinated with my yearly goals. I'll link my 2022 yearly goals in the upper corner over here if you guys want to watch that video to see where I'm pulling these monthly goals from. But the first one is the Bible in a year. I have been able to stay on track. I've not been consistent to listening to that podcast every day, so I'll do some catch-up days. I would like to be more consistent with having it be kind of a meditation morning routine for me. And next was to smog our vehicles. They have been smogged, they have been registered, and that was all for our motorhome to prepare us to be able to go on a family vacation, which that is going to be happening starting on Sunday this next week, and I'm so excited for that. Next was I finished book 1. I finished book 1. Actually, I need to get a pen to check these off. So Bible in a year, yes, would like to do better. The smog, working out. I have been consistent with working out, and it's at least been 3 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week. I'm doing 1 class as well, which is fun to get back into the classes. I finished reading 1 book. I've actually finished reading 2 books now. I did get registered for my PAL certification. My CEUs, so they were released this month. They were released over here on the 2nd. There's a book sticker. You guys can't really see that all the way. And I would like to be better at those, be more consistent, because I'm really bad at procrastinating with my CEUs, and it creates a lot of unnecessary stress. So they are all videos that I can listen to through my phone. It is convenient. It's just me choosing to not spend time watching YouTube videos or something like that, and instead use some of that time to listen to some of those CEUs and then take the tests on them. The gift sinking fund for Valentine's, yes, we took care of that. It was Grandpa's birthday. That had happened. We scheduled our vacation. We're on track for that. And sales on Facebook Marketplace. You guys, I had 3 years worth of stuff for my kids. Toys, clothes, you name it. And it took me all last week to sort through it and get it all listed. But I've been running around like a crazy person trying to get this stuff delivered to people and shipped. I sold on Facebook Marketplace and Poshmark, and nearly everything is sold for the season. I got it sorted into seasons as well, which was a huge thing. Something new and unexpected that happened this month as well was our solar panels were installed on the 10th. They're going to be a total of $40,000 and $40,700. But then next year when we file our 2022 taxes, there is a reimbursement that will drop it to $30,118. The monthly payment is going to be $127.72. That has not yet started. We're still waiting for the inspection and all that good stuff. So I am still haven't been making that payment. I'm still making my standard electric payment, but I can't wait to tap into our solar panels because electricity and gas bill is unreal. I had to bump it up by $50. So yeah, that's just a note of something that had happened, but that's the calendar view. Now we're going to switch over to the actual numbers, crunching some numbers and wrapping up our budget. Here we are at the February monthly view. I'm going to try to show you guys some of the expenses and things that had happened this past week, because this is kind of my week 4 check-in, and the dates that I'm going to be looking at are going to be from the previous Thursday, which was March 3rd, to March 9th is my week 4 check-in for paycheck number 2 for the month of February. Just with how our paychecks fall, they will end up covering expenses and bills moving into the following month. And our last week's check-in, I already discussed our income. So this was all of our W-2 income that came in for the month of February. It was $8,811.90. Was more than we had expected, which is always the goal. We had our rollover from January to cover our electricity and gas bill. Just with how the paychecks and the bills fall, this way each month covers the same amount of bills. Then there was some extra income. This past week, there was, I think I put some notes on here as well to try to remind myself. Yeah, this was a sale on Poshmark for items. I still have some pending. I have, I think, about $70 still pending in Poshmark sales. And then my husband had opened a Quicksilver card. He used to just use our debit card for all of his purchases, which is his personal spending, gas, things like that. But he opened the Quicksilver card to take advantage of the cashback rewards. They had a sign-on cashback reward if you spent a certain amount of money. I think it was like $500 within the first few months. You got $250 of cash back, and it ended up being $258.14. Then there was some money to one of my friends. So this creeps a lot of you guys out, but I have a bearded dragon. I love her to pieces. My friend also has a bearded dragon. And what comes with owning, animals like that is that they eat bugs. And we ended up kind of inheriting a dubia cockroach colony. I know it sounds disgusting. It's really not that bad. I'm kind of moderately squirmy on the squirmish scale, I guess, when it comes to creepy crawly things. But my friend, she would get cockroaches from me, and they're cockroaches. They're easy to keep alive. So I was talking to her about just starting her own colony because ours was honestly too big for what we needed for our dragon. So we branched off our colony and gave it to her, and she gave me $50 for that, and that was all of the extra income. So our total income for February was $9,367.69, which that was almost $1,000. It's about $700 more than we were expecting, which is fantastic. All of these bills had already come out. I did that last week for the check-in. I think the ones that I was waiting on was our Hulu. That came out as expected. And the next one, I think, was our security system. And that one, it has not yet come out. It's not going to come out until Friday, and I like to do my closeouts on Wednesdays. It's very consistent. I'll just check back on Friday. If it's not the $9.99 that it normally is, then I'll just update the budget. So all of our expenses have been tracked. I am going to be going back to rolling over money to the next month from the previous month to cover the electricity and gas bill. When I was setting up my March budget, I told you guys that I was thinking of removing that, but really just for convenience, because otherwise I'd have to wait until that bill had cleared, which is midway into the next month. And I just don't want to wait that long. I want to be able to close out the month, move on to the next month, and start planning and checking in. So I'm going to continue to do the rollovers. And so you guys will see that. Actually, let me go to the March budget. You guys will see that right here, this rollover. So we'll go back to February. But since I'm closing out this budget, I'm going to account for me already rolling over that money. Oh, groceries, you guys. We blew our budget by almost $100 on groceries. I'm going to keep it this $650 budgeted amount for now. I really don't know. I'm just kind of hesitating, I guess, dragging my feet to update this. But yeah, here you can see we were over by almost $80. Fun money. Don't think we really did anything new other than what we did last week. Household and pets. This was some dog treats from Costco. And I think one of you had mentioned that you would put in the notes section where you made the purchase. And so I really like that. And that's what I've done here. Because of when I do, and this was a split transaction as well. So there was the $142 from groceries. And my husband's spending, we each had spent all of our spending and even had to tap into some of our sinking funds that we build up. Miscellaneous was just out of control this month. There were some donations, but it just kind of was a snowball effect. It started out of control early in the month of February and just kind of continued to be crazy. But I think with the extra money we were able to bring in, we were still able to have more cash flow than the expected or the predicted amount, which is good. But still, I would rather not have gone over. The donations, I'm happy about doing the donations, but there was still some other miscellaneous spending that it was mostly just on my kids, things like that, impulse purchases, all that fun stuff. Gas, we were over budget by $1.03. I'll take it. Then debt, that was standard. All of these were bills that cleared last week. The sinking funds, this is kind of a love-hate for me with transitioning to this new every dollar budget system. I love that you can track the sinking funds because I have a lot of sinking funds, you guys, and I like that I can take care of the transactions while I'm doing my check-in, and it automatically updates them. I don't even think I'm going to need to do a sinking fund closeout anymore because it's all taken care of when I do my monthly closeout. But this is what I'm left with. It wasn't really rolling over the right amount to March. I'm going to have to keep track of that, but I had kind of a bumpy start since I was midway through February. Kind of morphing my paycheck budget, my paper budget into this electronic every dollar budget. So I'm thinking I'm just going through the growing pains, and as I figure out more how to work this program, it won't be as difficult. But I do like, you guys, when I was coming back to check on this, I don't know what happens, but I seem to just make up numbers when I'm writing things down on my paper budget. So this at least can take away some of the human error that's involved with that, because I am so bad at it. There were like two of them that I was just completely off on the numbers, and I don't even know where that came from. But anyways, these are our sinking funds. But now, this is the exciting part, you guys. We are going to finish budgeting, and this is where how this app tracks sinking funds is not how I track my sinking funds. And this is kind of where I'm personalizing this app to fit my needs. But I do like that the accessibility of this, especially for my husband. He has this on his phone now, because before it used to be me just telling him what was going on with the budget and things like that. This way he can access the numbers for himself, and he can even track his own expenses, which I think is going to be so great, because we share a lot of roles, a lot of responsibilities for our household. We're used to using apps on our phone to do that, such as for meal planning and for ordering groceries and grocery pickup. We kind of just function as a central unit to keep our household functioning, and our finances, our budget is such a huge part of that. And that was an area that we hadn't really figured out how to allow us both to use a system that we could use and understand and have access to. And this is, I think, the solution to that problem. So I'm loving that. That's why I'm going to really try to figure out how to make this work. So with that being said, let's finish allocating. So we have our, I'm going to pop over to this remaining. So this is where it says, it's talking about the sinking funds, like sinking funds that were spent and then this planned. So I do put $1,600 every month into sinking funds, but that money is tracked elsewhere and they're like trying to track it within the planned amount. And so how I'm going to handle that is I'm going to bring in my calculator and I'm going to take this $9,367.69 that we had total, and I'm going to subtract all of these expenses under spent. We have the giving, $51.10, minus our housing expenses, food, variable, debt, investing, and then the sinking funds. That's not, I allocated $1,600 to sinking funds. That's what I'm counting as my spend. So I come over here to this planned and I'm going to subtract the $1,600 that I spent towards sinking funds. And that leaves me with $819.44 of cash flow after all bills and variable expenses have been paid for. So to allocate that money, I'm going to take $200 because of the extra money, this $258.14 that came from my husband's cash reward card. He had spent about $250 something on his birthday present. For my husband and I, we usually allocate $50 for our birthdays. So I'm going to take $200 of that $258 and put that back into our gifts and holidays. So it normally gets $200. I'm going to change that to $400. Okay. And then the rest of that is going to go towards debt, which is going to be right here. And I'm trying to see, I'm going to kind of play around with these numbers because I don't know, I haven't ever done an extra payment towards this debt category, and the app kind of has a different functionality based on how the category is characterized. So I'm going to take away that $200 from the $819. That leaves me with $619.44 that we are putting towards debt. So let's try it this way. I'm going to see if you can make it kind of look like an extra payment. Let's see what that does. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here and double check that everything has been zeroed out. So we started with the $9,367.69 of income. We're looking at what we had spent, not looking at sinking fund spending, because we don't use sinking fund spending the same way the app wants us to. So I'm going to subtract my $51.10 to giving, $34.39.29 for bills, $727.37 for food. And some of these are going to be merged for next month, so it's not going to be split up like this because this is not how I categorize my expenses. Okay, and then $800 for investing, and so that leaves the $1,800, and that is what we put towards our sinking funds. So that leaves us with a zero-based budget. Okay, I think this is gonna work. Now, what I'm gonna do, because if you watch my videos in the past, I used to, on the bottom of my paper budgets, keep track of my debt. And it was every week I could kind of see my debt. I would update the numbers when a minimum payment was made on any of our debts or when I made any extra payments. Now that I'm kind of moving more electronic, I have put together an Excel document for that. And so we'll just switch over to that. Okay, here we are at the Excel document. And this is where I'm also going to update you guys on some money moves that we've made. So all of our extra debt payments goes towards our student loan. We do a velocity banking strategy. I'm going to be doing a velocity banking monthly closeout on the next video that I post, but it's essentially an interest savings strategy. So the student loan, what I started with in the month of February was $21,321.30. I made my minimum monthly payment of $500. $10.04 of that went towards interest. So my student loan is currently sitting at $20,831.34. We just made that extra $619.44. So I'm going to put that over here in this extra, and it should update my ending balance to $20,211.90. So in my yearly goals, I had told you guys that once the student loan was at $20,000 or less, I wanted to kick in our velocity banking strategy into our mortgage. Honestly, you guys, I am just too excited. I'm so close. I really don't want to wait until the end of March. So what I ended up doing was going ahead and transferring over $20,000 from our home equity line of credit to pay down our mortgage. What that's going to look like on here is it began at zero, the HELOC contribution. And now since I transferred over that money, it's now $20,000 that our HELOC balance is at for the house. So that $20,000, when I withdrew that out of our home equity line of credit, that was then applied towards the principal on our mortgage. Because velocity banking, it's where you use lines of credit, which are two-way simple interest, to pay down one-way amortized interest loans. Our home equity line of credit is our two-way simple interest that we're using, and my student loans, which was a refinance, it had an amortization schedule, and our mortgage has an amortization schedule, a set term, a set minimum monthly payment. Interest is front loaded early on in the loan. So that's kind of the kind of debts that we're paying off using this strategy. But that $20,000 that I took out of our home equity line of credit, I applied as an extra principal payment to our mortgage. So our mortgage is now at $178,784.45. That has changed what our amortization schedule looks like to the bank, which will shorten the amount of time that it will take us to pay off our mortgage. If you guys want to see me do an amortization schedule showing you our mortgage, let me know if you want to see a video like that. I can go ahead and post that, but this is all of our debts. I included the solar panels. That has not come into effect yet because we're still waiting for some inspections to happen. But as of now, the total debts that we owe is $218,996.35. So let's see how much we were able to pay off. We'll take our beginning minus our ending. So we paid off $1,747.89. We paid an extra $20,619.44, but of course that was kind of canceled out right here, but it was that $619.44 that we paid for, and our total interest that we paid was $791.63 this month. All right, you guys, that is going to wrap up this video. My heart was literally racing as I was making those transfers. It was very exciting, nerve-wracking. I kind of felt like we were taking a big leap using this strategy, but I'm really just excited to see this monster of a mortgage. I never thought that we would be able to pay off our mortgage early. It honestly felt less realistic than paying off my student loans ever did. And here we are with my student loans. I started with $78,000 a couple years ago. I am now down to a little over $20,000. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with us on this journey. We do a lot of unconventional things here. I kind of like to try things that are a little unconventional, and I enjoy sharing these with you, and I really appreciate your support. I'll see you guys on the next video when I do the Velocity Banking monthly closeout.